this, ladies and gentlemen, with the church bells in the distance, is the wonderful room that I stayed in last night. About 200 yards from the station door with the lovely landlady Lynn. Thank you, Lynn, for a wonderful stay, and thank you for your amazing cats, one of which spent the night right there, right in the middle of the bed, which is good. Well, good morning all. It's bright and early on a Sunday morning, and I'm walking to the station. I believe I'm probably going to be one of the first ones there. Don't think it's quite open yet, but we've got a train to catch, and the reason we're here is to give this watch to Bernie, and that's going to happen this morning, which is why I've got a train to catch. This is the station. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, the first train of the day doesn't leave for another 35-40 minutes. So I'm going to just nip quickly across the level crossing here, because we didn't actually come through here yesterday. Because over here, I believe, are the sheds and also the museum. Not to mention a signal box. I believe this is where they're restoring the GWR railcar. Let's go and have a look. God, do you remember those in the cowboy films? And here we are, the GWR railcar, which is currently being repaired, brought back from the dead, as it were. Well, ladies and gentlemen, GWR 1940 diesel rail car, number 20. These are probably one of the most iconic, pretty, gorgeous, beautiful rail vehicles ever built and designed anywhere in the UK. These things are absolutely glorious. Look at that. And the work being done to bring this particular one back to life. Should we go and have a look inside? Thank you. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I've actually not been in one of these. There are actually one or two in good condition. I've not been in any of those. Look at this. Oh, the business end. Let's go there. This is a labour of love, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that view. This is a real labour of love. If any of you are plane spotters, I don't know, I get this overpowering. This reminds me of a de Havilland Rapide, old biplane airliner. Well, there we are. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, look, wooden construction. I'll fight my way through with my bags. Wooden construction. This would have been, I guess, the guards stroke goods carrying out, because these would have done mixed goods. These would have been going up and down the line, single units on their own. They wouldn't have been paired, so they'd have had to do everything. And in here is some of the modern jiggery pokery going on behind the scene. I think I may have to come back and see this when it's running. But look, there is just one here. Just to give you an idea of the sort of seats you'd have had on these trains. I don't think they made anything with a diesel engine more beautiful than this to run on British Rail, ever. Ah, the business end. I wonder where they put that.
Yeah, you've got to hide it somewhere, haven't you?
Whoa.
It's off RT bus.
Oh, is it an RT? And that's enough to power this?
Yeah.
Good gracious me. So that's literally lifted out of an RT?
Yeah.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The engine you're looking at there is from an old London Transport RT bus, which is the one that looked like a Routemaster before the Routemaster.
It did.
If you don't know your buses.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it probably had a chassis as well, which the Routemaster never had, did it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and this will be ready when, do you think?
Probably got about a year to go, I think, something like that. Yeah.
I was just explaining to people, I think this is probably the most beautiful thing ever to go on British Railways with a diesel engine. I don't think there's a more beautiful thing ever made with an engine in it like this. These things are stunning. And I don't know why.
Tell him, he loves it.
They remind me of the de Havilland Rapide. Do you remember that? The biplane? Same sort of pointy front end for the cockpit.
It's very kind of Art Deco, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's gorgeous. I mean...
I think, was it, John, there's only one other, isn't there? And that's at York.
No, one other of this style is at Didcot.
Oh, he is the man.
Didcot's got one that runs, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, this one's.
Well, this one, mate. Yeah, but, yeah, I know what you mean. You know what I mean? They've got it out, and it's not halfway through. This is going to be the pride of the fleet when it's done, though, isn't it? So, how many of you guys have been working on this?
About 38 years, is it?
It was put into storage, taken off the rails in late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s.
And I personally been working it for over 25 years, but they want it finished by next year. So
No rush, no pressure. Well, I'm certainly going to come back and see this when it's on rails. I just adore these things. I think they're amazing. I grew up, I had a jigsaw puzzle with one of these, and it's coming up a rail, and you can see the church in the background, and you can see that there's a family with the car, the old Ford Popular. You know, it's amazing. Well, thank you very much, and I shall look forward to seeing this back in one piece and running again. Oh,
Did you go inside?
I have been in, oh yes, I've been inside, definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tenterden Town signal box, and we're just going to go up. We've been granted access to have a little quick look around, and so you can see what goes in one of these. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is privileged access we have here. The key has been brought up from the dungeon, having gone past the lion, the two bears to protect it. Hello! Permission to come in. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is called a frame, and that is where the business end happens. This controls the railway. You don't know much about them. Pulling these levers opens points, signals, rest or open, and basically runs the entire railway. I've got to ask, why? Always.
That's a badge of office.
Is that what it is?
What it means, the reason we have it is because the levers are polished and you get perspiration on your hand, and it causes that lovely polished steel to go rusty.
Oh, and that wouldn't do.
No, absolutely.
No, that wouldn't do.
No.
Wow.
That thing in the corner.
This is the token machine.
Token machine.
Now this is important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've come here today because we're giving Bernie a railroad watch. Now, in America, they had great long distances to travel between. They didn't have signal boxes like this. Our railways are kind of locked up. You've got signals, you've got points. Providing your watch is in a couple of minutes, you're not going to go far wrong. Now, in America, they don't have this. In America, there could be 1,000 miles between junctions, between stations. And where you were on that track was dictated by the time. So they had to have very accurate watches. Now, in Kipton, in 1891 in Ohio, the guard's watch stopped for 4 minutes and he didn't know. Later on that day, because they were 4 minutes out, they had a head-on with a freight train, and over 100 people were killed. And the owners came together and decided, right, we can't be doing this anymore, it's bad for business. And they got hold of a chap who could actually do something about it. His name was Bund, and he designed a watch which basically formed the basis of railroad timekeeping in America. 3 seconds a day was the accuracy, and because they didn't have this. This is what saved lives. This is what kept people alive and kept the railways and made them workable. And gentlemen like this over here, operating these very same levers, were keeping the railway safe and alive. And it's the technology that we're looking at here would have been around and in action before the turn of the century, wouldn't it?
Oh yes.
This is sort of 1860s, 1870s. A lot of this technology here.
This is a heritage railway.
Yes.
It's not like that on the main.
Oh no, they sit in an office now and push a button. I don't even think it's a button, it's a mouse.
Yeah.
It's all done with mice now. Each of these is numbered, each of these responds to a certain signal. Some of them say what they are. See, the black one there is points.
That's right. The red ones are the signals.
Red ones are signals.
The black ones are points. And the blue one is a facing point lock.
Which it's mutually exclusive.
That's right. Yeah.
And these basically tell you where the trains are and for
Where
signalling.
the trains are and what the indicators are of the signals.
Fantastic. And as you can see at the
And
top.
that's the diagram of the track that we control here at Tenterden.
So you've got a box. How far down that way for the next
Mile and a
roll?
half to roll.
Rolvenden. So as you can see, look, we're there. As you come to the right, there is Rolvenden, just on the other side of Cranbrook Road there. So how far are you from the next?
The next signal box is a mile and a half away, yeah.
So some of these, ladies and gentlemen, oh hello, that's official, I'll stop recording.
Oh, you can do, yeah. While our friend is here, we'll see you operate the machine then.
Ah, that's the deputy assistant trainee signalman is now in charge, ladies and gentlemen. So I am now going to keep right out of the way. And
Do we need to call him first anyway, make sure he's there, so we just give him one bell?
and he'll respond with a single belt. There he is, he's there.
What we're offering, so I'm going to give him 3-1, which is for a stopping train. And that's the token.
Wow, it actually locked in there.
These are all locked in, yeah. There's a supply here and there's a supply at Rolvenden.
Right.
But only one of these can come out of any machine at any one time.
They're locked.
So it now means that no other train can get permission to use this section of line between here and Rolvenden.
So who actually unlocked that? Him at the other end?
Yeah, it's all done through the telegraph codes and the electronics in there. So it's fairly rudimentary.
So you unlock his machine to come this way and he unlocked
He
yours.
get one out,
Yeah.
and he allows us to get one out. So we now put this
On one of those great big things?
these hoops.
Yes.
And it allows Tenterden town to Rolvenden for the driver.
Right.
We give that to the driver. So obviously if there were any accidents to happen for any particular reason, whoever's investigating can see who had the token and who was meant to be there and likewise who wasn't.
Wow.
So we'll take that down to the driver in a minute, and when he gets to Rolvenden he'll hand it to the signalman will put it back into his system, and then either of us can issue then another ticket, another token for the next train to get permission to use the line.
And ladies and gentlemen, the absolute real bonus of this is while this gentleman is holding that, I'm not missing my train. This has been pointed out to me that that block, which has been put on this handle, is to stop trains coming in because we've got one at the platform.
That's correct.
So when that train leaves, that block will be removed, that signal can go up and another train can come in. I just love the way these things are all beautifully made and polished and absolutely, because this is a privilege, because normally to see something like this you're stood in the Science Museum or something like that, and you're not in a working, this is a real live signal box with trains on the end of it, and this is absolutely amazing. Anyway, I better go and get on my train, get out of your way, because you don't want people in here when you're operating, and I've got to go and see Bernie and give him a watch. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a real treat. That was actually a working live signal box we were allowed into there. And I'm just going to see if I can operate the gate. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Yes, and you have a great day. Wow, I'm off on this train now. Let's go back over. We're going to come back later and we're going to come and look at the museum, which is here as well. I've been told that museum is well worth not missing. But for now, let's go catch a train. Love the smell of steam in the morning. Right, there's a train through here which we need to go and hop on, I think. Now this, the consist here is of vintage stock. Some of this stock is from the 1800s. Ignore that. This is on because of the railway we're travelling on is a dead end. So at the back there will be a steam locomotive attached. A selection of coaches like this is called a consist in railway parlance, and so we're going to see if we can hop on there, because that's where the steam train will be attached to at the end. So when we get further down the track, what they're going to do is a locomotive will be attached here to bring it back. Because of the track, it's a dead end, so the loco will pull it down, and then to come back it will be pulled by steam train from this end. Now we've been granted a bit of a privilege here. We're going to be travelling on this one where the locomotive will be. This is the guards van. There will be some guards travelling with us, so hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to them. Thank you very much. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the guard's van. This is not where your normal passengers would travel. Always good to know the brakes are working, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, absolutely.
Especially from the rear trade.
Absolutely. So what do these things all do here?
So that's the handbrake.
Okay.
That's the air brake, so the vacuum brake.
And that's
When that reaches 18 pounds per inch, we have to brake the vacuum to make sure that it goes off and on again. And that's your radiator, so it's the steam heating. That apparently is specifically designed to put your enamel cup of tea on.
oh wow! They did think of everything, didn't they?
Absolutely.
They
When I asked the driver about whether it was an urban myth about cooking bacon and egg on the shovel in the fire.
They did
So
it.
They do.
I know they did that. I know. I've seen it done. I've not flavoured. I've not tasted it. Apparently it's a bit gritty sometimes, but they often wish to wipe the spade first. These are
It's
beautiful.
like a barbecue.
What is the age of this coach?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm still a trainee, so I have a lot to learn.
We met another trainee this morning. We met the trainee signalman over there in the signal box. He's a trainee as well, so that was fun to meet him.
There's another trainee guard on stay. That's my husband. So we're both training together.
Oh,
Not that we're competitive.
there's no competition who's going to get there
Absolutely
first.
not,
No, because if you get there first, you can boss him. Hey, you thought of that? You're in charge. Hey, that's not
We'll
the incentive to
get there
finish first.
first.
Oh, I wonder. Well, I never did. You could tell when this was repainted.
Usually there's sometimes there's a sign that says when it was made. There you go.
Oh, it's a plate.
1910.
1910. Wolverton. Now, Wolverton is where?
Milton Keynes.
Near Milton Keynes is what I thought. So this would have not been local stock here, would
No,
it?
I think we rescue whatever is available to be rescued.
Have you got any actual Kentish Sussex from this line?
It's to Kent, East Sussex, because that used to be they run the hop picker special.
Oh.
So this line was never designed for passengers. It was
No,
designed
it's a light railway.
for hops from the hop fields to the Guinness Brewery.
I interviewed Robin yesterday and he told me that you've got 3 miles of fresh track that's never been down before. Now that for a reserve railway is a bit of a project, isn't it? To say the absolute minimum.
And we're travelling to Junction. I'm travelling to Junction Road for the first time.
This has to go down to Junction Road before it stops at Bodiam on the way back.
That's right.
Is there a reason for that?
I think it's because if you get off at Bodiam, it's a long time for you to get a train back this way.
It's an hour.
Once we get there, we're only shuttling
Yeah.
Bodiam to Junction Road.
What's happening now, ladies and gentlemen, is that meat that we were looking at earlier on in there is the brake pressure. And unless that reaches the magic number of 18, this train goes nowhere. And at the moment, it's sitting stubbornly at nothing. If you want, I'll give you a shout if it moves, if you want to go and communicate with him. So we're now watching this pressure gauge, which is stubbornly nothing. It's starting to come up. There we go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's creeping up.
Perfect.
We'll
Good.
get there.
Good.
That means we can go.
It's coming up. Okay, I'm just going to break the vacuum. That's me done. Safe travels.
Thank you. See you at the other end. I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, the people here operating this railway have been so friendly and so helpful to me today. It's been amazing. But now we're off. Let's go. Pulling out as we leave the station. Leaving Tenterden. waving. And here we go over the level crossing. That's the road I've been walking up and down since I got here. And that's where we stayed over there. Look how close to the station it is. And what a lovely landlady it was. I've been bowled over by the people I've met here this weekend. Absolutely fabulous. And there's where I have my breakfast. Right over there. Wave. We are at the rear of the train, as you can see. So, ladies and gentlemen, this guard's van that we're sitting in was in a part of a coach that was built in 1910 in Walton, near Milton Keynes. As you can see, our brake pressure there is nice and high. As he puts the brakes on, you can see the lever going up and down. See, it's applying the brakes, look. Letting them off again. And of course, normally this would have been at the back of the train, so the guard would have had a view of where he'd been. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at Tenterden. And just look at this, look, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you couple two trains together. That goes over one hook. That goes over the hook on the carriage behind. And then you crank that up until it's tight and there's no slack. And you've connected a train. And that weighs a lot, I tell you. You wouldn't want to have to lift that. Thank you, have a lovely day. Right, now I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pull forwards a little bit. We've been given the whistle and we're going to have that locomotive, which is called Hastings, and he's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, as you'll see in a minute. To the back of the train, just behind us here. Edging gently forwards, and coming into view now is Hastings. Now this is the loco works, which I don't know if we're going to have time to go and see today. But that's where they keep the locos. There's another one, look. There's Markla. And there she is, 257 Squadron. Right there. Oh well, it doesn't get much better on a sunny Sunday morning. Look at that. And there's Hastings. What a beauty. Good morning, gentlemen. What a beautiful little locomotive. Look at that. Now she will pull forwards and reverse onto the back of our train. You can see when you look over there at the size of the locomotives, what an amazing locomotive 257 is, and how much larger she is than everything else here. And here comes Hastings reversing back. There she is. There'll be a slight jolt, but not a very big one, because I've seen this guy driving yesterday. He's very precise. Here she comes, here she comes. 10 feet, 5 feet, 4, 3, 2, 1. Couldn't feel a thing. That was beautiful driving. Now you can see the guard there has the red light, which was on the back of the carriage here. That will be going on the back of the loco while it's travelling the way we're going. Because that is effectively the back of the train. Now remember we was in the signal box earlier? Do you remember all those levers? See those wires down there? These are what's connected to those levers. As you can see, like with that wheel there, it comes up that post and operates the signal. The driver of the locomotive is satisfied with the connection. Everybody's climbing back on board. Here we go, on to the next station and beyond. So as you can see, we are towing Hastings behind us, but on the journey back, she's in command, she's doing the towing. What a beautiful locomotive. Right, I better get back on, we're going to move now. Thank you. Oh, you coming in?
No.
Shut the door. Thank you. What a beautiful station, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, all aboard. Thank you, gentlemen. Staff on this railway are amazing, ladies and gentlemen. They really are absolutely amazing. They've got quite a lot of buildings here. More stuff going on over there. The dirty great big signal. There's the signal box we're going past over. Northern box. Can I interest you in a sleeper, ladies and gentlemen? We have one or two spare here. There's Bernie. We'll be back to see him later. So that was Bodiam Station. We'll be spending a little while there later. Hopefully coffee's available. Look at that, look. The glamping coach at Bodiam. You can actually stay in a railway coach. Now that has got to be a good way of spending a weekend, hasn't it? Got a little diesel shunter there. So we're now going on to what I believe is new track. Bernie, when we get back to the station, will explain more. But this, I believe, is part of an extension that several people I've spoken to on the railway haven't even travelled down yet. So we're here early. We're first. And as Robin was saying yesterday, they're looking to add another 3 miles to this track. Very impressive. Very impressive. The more the merrier, I say. There ladies and gentlemen, that was as far as the track goes. Look, you can see it ends right there. And so now that valiant little engine is going to pull us back the way we came. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached Bodiam Station. Hello again. Thank you for that, by the way. Greatly appreciated. Right, let's go and see if we can find us a Bernie, shall we? Hello, young man.
Nice to meet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have met Robbie. And now we've also met Bernie. Everybody's here today. Hello.
I still have a bit of work to do.
You've got some work to do, so we're going to sit here and wait for you to do your work.
When the train's gone, I've got about half an hour.
Right, they're taking water, so we're going to go and see what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Water off. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go and have a look in the office. Good afternoon, sir. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is where all of the work takes place. Not much room to work, you'll notice. Firebox there, the all essential water gauge. In fact, it's empty. Run away. Simply. There is not much room to work in there, is there? It's the old term swing a cat, you can't even swing a spade. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful rake of vintage coaches on this train. We don't go back on this one now, this one goes back without us. We catch the next one, which will come in about an hour. As you can see, we've even got first class Southern stock here. First, third class stocks. Look at the leather on those doors over there. That's first class, you see. You get leather. Third class, you get wood. So lots of people will be getting off today because Bodiam Castle isn't very far away. That's the guards van that I travelled up in over there, look. It's great to see the kids taking an interest. There's the gates being opened, ready for the train to leave. Can't go anywhere while they're closed. Here we go, open. Bring around. I'm going to hear a whistle in a minute and the train will depart. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at last we are together. Let meet Bernie. Bernie, meet ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
And also down there somewhere on the other end of that will be Jeff, although at the moment he's sound asleep 8 hours behind.
He should be, yes.
He's in Washington at the moment. But he sent you this watch. Now this video is kind of the culmination. When Jeff was 6, he was on a preserved steam railway and he asked the guard about his watch, not about the train. And he was fascinated with watches from that day forwards. And so in your position as sometimes station master, when you're wearing a watch, Jeff thought it would be nice if a 6-year-old kiddie or any kiddie came up to you and said, "What's on the end of your chain, mister?" And you could explain to him. And if that kiddie takes up an interesting watch, his work is done. So we've talked a bit about railroad watches, and what we have here is a Bunn 60 hour, which I'm now going to give to Bernie.
Oh,
there you go. Now, there, what you've got there, I'll take that.
It sparkles in the sun.
It sparkles in the sun. If you turn it over, you can see the back.
Look at that, yeah.
And I'll show you how that all comes apart in a minute. You can actually see the movement. and as you'll see, it's spot accurate.
Yep, yep.
These watches are accurate to 3 seconds a day, and this one has been serviced by Mohammed in London. I'm wearing mine. I've got you've got a Illinois 60 hour. This is a 999B by the Ball Company. You can see that, ladies and gentlemen. Very similar watch. These are both very high end.
Well, you can tell that by looking at it, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, even it's like comparing a Rolls Royce to a Rolls Royce. Even the low end were good. They had to be a minimum standard, and that minimum standard was extremely high.
And of course, this one with the plum hands.
Yeah, of course, you've got plum
which
hands
is
on
probably
that.
the rarest
Yes.
you can get.
Now, the process of making hands is you heat them over a candle or a small flame. Now, the very first colour that hand will be that, it goes yellow, then it goes that plum colour. Very, very quickly afterwards, it goes through purple and it goes into the blue.
Yeah.
And most hands that you see on watches are blued. These are plumbed. They're much harder to get hold of. They're more sought after. And they're made by a person who's very skillful, because the timing to get that, you have to pull it out before it gets there.
Yeah.
But if you want to grab hold of that and pull it out because you're sitting down, it'll be safe. You'll see that it's attached to a chain. If you want to pull the whole chain out.
Let's get this out here. We'll pop that down
Put that
there.
down there. And we can pop the knife on the other end of this for you. So the knife is actually a case opening knife. It's an ordinary knife, but there's a smaller case opening knife there as well. So I guess if you're walking down the high street in Tenterden and the local police stop you, it's not an offensive weapon,
No.
guys.
It's only ever going to be worn on the uniform anyway.
Yeah,
so.
and you have a little fob there.
Little tiny fob with a clock on it.
That will hang down, obviously.
Well, that's smashing. Thank you, Gabriel, and thank you, Jeff.
Yes, I'll run through how these work in a minute, because I have a very special way of setting the time on them.
This is a really special gift indeed, because in the UK, from what I've been able to research, these are very highly sought after, and they're quite considerable value. Sadly, well, compared to a lot of other watches, they've got value. In the States,
Not so much, because there are more of them.
well, the problem is, as he said, they take the metalwork.
They take this and melt it down.
And they melt it down, and therefore the workings just get thrown away.
They
As,
don't want to know, and it's the movements where the value's in.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, these 3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, if you went to a jeweller's and buy yourself a Tag Heuer, you buy yourself a Rolex, you buy yourself any of these expensive makes as a chronometer, the standard that watch is set to is based on this.
Yep.
This predates it. They were doing this back in the early 1900s. So this is old technology, but it's accurate technology.
what is impressive, or what impressed me about this, was that they're almost, if you like, early mass-produced parts, in that
They are.
several watch companies would order from a standard company, and each factory would have buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of individual parts, but it would put them together in its own way by hand, and therefore it could take, was it 6 months?
6 months.
To get one built and accurate as they wanted it.
But it was
So-
mass produced, and that's the whole thing. These things had to be accurate, but they couldn't just be handmade special pieces. They had to be mass produced, because every guard, every railman, everybody working on the railway had to have one. They all had to be accurate. They all had to be maintainable. So every so often these things were checked, and often they were checked by guys carrying possibly a 60 hour or certainly a 999B as a master clock, and if you weren't on spot, you were given a loaner, and yours was repaired at your own cost. Bearing in mind, some of these would have cost the equivalent of 2 or 3 years' wages.
Oh yeah.
These, in the days when people weren't buying cars, were probably after their house. In fact, probably more than their house, their most valuable asset. So a lot were taken and converted after they retired and had different faces put on. But that's an original. You've got a porcelain face there. Don't drop it.
I don't. I don't intend to drop it, Jeff. If you're watching this,
you will be. He won't be up for another hour. So thinking of you, Jeff.
This will be very much treasured, I can assure you. And thank you to Gabriel for adding that little extra to it. It just balances it out quite nicely. I will be very happy to tell the story. As Gabriel just heard, I've already done some homework on it.
He has. He knows more than 90% of British people already.
So I'll be very glad to tell the story onwards.
Absolutely brilliant.
No problem at all. And thank you very much indeed. You're too generous, mate. That's the trouble.
I hope you get as much enjoyment out of that watch as I have.
Oh,
out
I
of
will.
mine.
Don't you worry about that.
Every time I pull that thing out, I think of its history. It's been on a train in America through the 20s and the 30s. It's been keeping people safe and alive through that period. And someone's kept it, and it's been maybe handed down. And here it is now in my hand, still keeping 3 seconds a day accuracy.
And when as station master, signal for the trains to leave, we watch that, and then
absolutely, trains will be sent off by your watch.
They will be sent off by this watch.
And
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, they will be within 3 seconds of their departure time. I can guarantee you.
I wish I could. Well, in terms of the watch, yes.
Yes.
On a heritage railway, a lot of things can happen to prevent that. But
that's
yes,
absolutely true.
If we get away on time, it will be within 3 seconds.
Brilliant. Well, Bernie, it's been absolutely fantastic bringing this watch down. I've got to say, I have been blown away by the quality of what's here, and the friendliness and helpfulness of the staff here is second to none. Certain railways, and I'm not going to name them, are a little bit officious, and yes, you can't do this, and no, you can't do that. Nothing's too much trouble. I came down here in the Guardsman.
I noticed that. Were you with the guard?
No, empty guards van.
But they let you travel in it.
I just asked, I said, look, I'm filming this for Robin and the railway, can I please? And they said, yeah, in you go. Over there, we have the Cavell van. Tell us a little bit about the Cavell van and its history.
Well, the Cavell van was discovered by one of our, unfortunately he's passed on there, one of our members, John Miller. He wanted to buy a van to restore. When he bought the van and he checked on the chassis number, he found out that it was actually the very first of a new design of this van built by Ashford Works. Then later on, doing more investigations, he found out that not only had it been used to convey the body of Edith Cavell from the Channel ports to London, but also Captain Fryatt and the Unknown Warrior. Incredible. So for as far as we know, it was used to carry all three bodies. Inside it, you've got a replica of the coffin of the Unknown Warrior with the ironwork on it. Mm-hmm. Even the ironwork has a particular story. It was to a specific design, and well, if you wanted to have it recreated now, it would cost you many thousands of pounds. At the time, the only way they found the type of iron required, iron ore, whatever it was, in the old Nantley quarry in North Wales, they found a bit of scrap material.
It was right.
Which was absolutely right for the job. And it took it a few miles further north, and a very, very clever chap crafted it as a replica for us. And that sits on top of the coffin now.
Fantastic.
And that carriage is dedicated to the story of those three.
What a huge piece of history, and there.
We've got a little, if you like, a little chapel area at this end for anybody that wishes to pay their respects. It's a very, very unique piece of history.
It isn't it?
Wow. One which we look after very carefully.
I bet.
In the winter, we put it undercover at Tenterden. In the summer, it's one of the exhibits we have to offer at Bodgham, which is the jewel in the crown of the railway. But I would say that because this is the station I work at and I belong to the maintenance group, we are very proud of our station, as indeed all the other workers should be of their station.
And here comes the train. Are you needed on the platform?
I won't be needed on the platform for this, no.
He doesn't stop, does he? That was us earlier.
Yeah.
So why don't they stop going down, just out of interest?
Timing.
Timing.
Makes it a lot easier, and also it gives everybody the opportunity to go down to Junction Road and back again without missing out. Yeah. But all of those carriages, or most of those carriages, you know, are well over 100 years old.
They are.
District Railway, South Eastern and Chatham.
Southern even.
We maintain them to a very high standard.
They do. They are, mate. That's a lovely rake of coaches.
But this station, of course, I'll say this very quickly because I've got to get back to work shortly. This was one of the hopper stations.
Yes.
Junction Road was, but there's no plans to reopen that. People would come here and they'd get off, and the Londoners would be here for their 2 or 3 week summer holiday, where they would spend time hop picking fresh air for the kids,
Absolutely. There's loads of host houses everywhere.
and
around
you
here.
still see the homestead. Everything you can see around you used to be hops.
Yes.
In a minute, you might have 5 minutes to spare. You could go up and have a look behind the toilets, which are carefully designed as the old coal merchants that used to
They
be.
are, aren't they?
You can poke your nose into a recreated hoppers hut we got.
Okay.
We're growing our own hops up there, so we've got our own little hop garden, vegetable garden.
Because you've lost your brewery down at Tenterden, haven't you?
We-
Maybe something up here
We did-
starting?
we're just over there. It's the Rother Valley Brewery.
Oh, is there? Oh, see, not that
So
far,
it's fairly close, yeah.
Good,
Fairly
good.
close.
Never far from beer in Kent, are you?
No, we're in Sussex now.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
of course you're in
not
Sussex.
beer here either.
No, that's true.
And in the little waiting room over there are some exhibits connected with hops,
Okay.
including photographs of my gran and granddad and my mum when she was a kid, because we've all been up picking here.
Have you?
Even me, when I was about 2 or 3, I got dragged up picking. We come up on the bus every day from Battle,
Oh, Battle.
and I'd be tied on a piece of string to the end of the bin at the end of the row of hops to make sure it didn't run away.
Not the back of the train and running.
No, definitely not.
And we will see you, obviously, on your channel again soon.
Yeah,
Nice one.
we'll meet again.
Absolutely. Bye bye. So I best we go and hop on a train somewhere. Okay. Best seat in the house. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our trip to Bodiam Station. We've given the watch to Bernie. We're behind a steam train again, and we're going to head back towards Tenterden, and then on home. But for now, we've got more steam train ride to do. Interesting seating. What we're doing now, ladies and gentlemen, is we're crossing rails to go back and catch the other train into Tenterden. As you can see, there are many other people with a similar idea. And that's what we came in on. Hastings, we will be going out on Swiftshaw. Now, I think you'll find there's a little bit more room to work in here. It's a little bit cramped in the other one. More room here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our last train race today, sadly. But we have still got time to go and visit the museum, I believe. I'm just going to check my bus timetables because the museum must be seen. So it's a must do while you're here. So we're going to head across and do that now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the museum telling the history. Wow, what a beautifully presented place. Look. It's really sad that we can't actually spend very long in here. Oh look, now there, that is what we saw being preserved. That is what they're going to end up with. A GWL railcar. How cool is that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was absolutely fascinating. I wish we could have spent longer in there. That museum is brilliant. It's beautifully put together. Absolutely beautifully put together, and there's so much information. Now, I haven't got the time to go through all of that, sadly, but I will be putting some more information into this film as and when I can, when I get home and I'm edited. But for now, my journey here is finished. I must now catch the bus back towards Headcorn so that I can get the train to London, and then the wonderful Berries bus back to Glastonbury. And I'd like to say thank you to Berries because Berries made this trip possible. Today's video was made possible by our sponsors, Berries Superfast. Berries operate 3 superfast routes from points in the West Country to London 7 days a week, come rain or shine, with their fleet of modern luxury coaches. Superfast 3 now offers the only scheduled coach link between Frome and London. The modern fleet of coaches offers PowerPoints, Wi-Fi and comfortable reclining seats. And our couriers on all superfast coaches offer at-seat catering, including hot and cold drinks, snacks and soon sandwiches, all sourced wherever possible right here in the West Country. And here's the good news, Berries will take you to London and bring you back in a day with plenty of time in the city for only £32. So pick up the phone and call Berries on 01 823 212 852 or book online at berriescoaches.co.uk. Now, back to the video. So, after all that, it's goodbye from here in Tenterden on the Kent and East Sussex Railway, and we see you on the next one. Hey, wherever it is, I don't know, but we'll see you. Could well be Prague.